What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing good out there. As you can see, we got the Felony on the bench. Had some overheating issues with the 20-tooth pinion, which I wasn't too happy about because I don't really want to go lower on the pinion. I like the gearing with the 20-tooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw some 40mm fans at this sucker with the new brackets I machined, and we'll see if that cures the problem. Let's get after this thing. So here it is, guys. Body is off. We got 3 brackets that I CNC machined. These are for the 40mm fans. One's going to go on the ESC. 2 are going to go on the factory heatsink. So we're going to run 3 40mm fans. Hopefully this will cool it down some. Obviously this is going to be a trial thing. Got some fans off Amazon. Nothing special. I'm not even sure really how to say the brand, so I'm not going to butcher it. But they were cheap. They were like $17 on Amazon, supposedly 26,000 RPMs, blah, 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 blah. We'll see. They were cheap enough to try. So basically we're going to tear into the ESC first. I'm going to move some of this stuff. See if we can get you guys in here some. So we're just going to remove the plugs, all the motor wires. Fan is unplugged to the heatsink fan. Then we're going to unplug this fan, which has the connector that splits off for the motor fan. And then we're just going to pull the cover off this thing. So one thing that's nice about these universal brackets is they'll fit the BLX 185s and these Arrma 150s. The Arrmas are a little weird. The BLX 185s will take 4mm screws and go right into the heatsink. You can mount them flush on top of the heatsink, or you can lift them off with like an old gutted fan or whatever you want. But these 150s are a little weird. They're going to use M3 screws, so you're going to need washers. So there's the top of the ESC. We're going to actually put this aside. We're not going to use any of this stuff. So basically we're just going to throw it over here in the bin and have it for later. So as you can see, you know, there's lugs that are threaded for the factory screws and the ESC cover and fan. The aftermarket brackets are actually going to bolt into these larger fins with M3 screws. So you're going to need some washers and so on and so forth. I believe the screws, let me measure these real quick. I have them in here. I think what you're going to want to do is, let's give them a quick measure, see what we got, so you guys know what you need to get. These are 18mm. You could probably go with a 20, to be honest, and you'd have more thread engagement, especially if you're going to be using like a game changer fan or something. There's a lot of mass in those things. They're heavy. Mass has to go somewhere, you know, when this thing comes to a dead stop. You hit a curb or something, that mass has to go somewhere. So if you don't have enough bite in this heatsink, it's going to rip the fan off. So you should probably go with 20s on that. And what I'm going to do is also, because of these raised fins, these have to be stepped. There's no way around it. The BLX 185, you can mount this directly on the heatsink. You know, you just slide it to one side so it's just past the capacitors. but these, unfortunately, you cannot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a gutted out ESC fan from a BLX 185, which is the same size as the fan that's in here. I think they're 35 millimeter. But anyway, I'm going to use a gutted one, and we're going to rest this up on here like this. So then the 40 millimeter will bolt to that. Like I said, you're going to need M3 screws, I would say 20 millimeters long. The easiest way to get them started into the heatsink, because that's pretty difficult, is to actually taper the end of the bolt, whether it be a bench grinder or a belt sander or whatever. If you can put a taper on the end of the bolt, it will start into the heatsink much, much better. So let's get this thing mounted up. So we got our 4 screws in. I'm just going to center this mount, and then I'm going to give it a snug all 4 screws. And there we are, we're tight. And there's the mount on the Arrma 150. Like I said, it's imperative that you use a gutted out fan to get that thing lifted up off the heatsink. Of course, like I said, these Arrmas are weird. They have the tall, basically heatsink sides. Not too sure why they did that. I guess they wanted to be fancy. But yeah. So then we're going to mount our 40 millimeter fans. Well, this one for starts. We're going to use some Loctite. There's the ESC one mounted. Very, very simple. I mean, I just plug this right back in and bada bing, bada boom. That one's ready to rock and roll. What I'm going to do is the motor side, when I wire the 2 fans, I'm going to use a Y harness, simple Y harness, and I'm just going to go into the receiver box and run those off the receiver, right off the BEC. So let's get into that section of it. Actually, here, have a look. All mounted. I like the polished look on the brackets. That's pretty cool. The red and black fans are decent. They're okay. I'd honestly rather have black and a natural aluminum, but like I said, these were cheap and they were worth a try. So couldn't complain about the color. So now let's flip this sucker around. This might be interesting here. We're going to leave that just like that. It'll be easier for you guys to see it that way. And then from the factory, they put a piece of heat shrink around one of the motor wires. This one in particular happens to be around the yellow wire. But it holds the wires for this fan just so they're not flopping around. So I'm just going to go in here and give it a nice little slice without messing up the original yellow heat shrink. It's on there good. Almost seems as if it's melted right to it, and it adhered to it, to the other heat shrink. Which happens sometimes. There we go. Yeah, it definitely adhered. So just take your time. So there we are. And then there's another one down here. There's another piece down here. So we'll snip that as well. get that baby off, and then we got our wire exposed and everything is copacetic. We're going to pluck this off. Now, as you'll see on these Arrma Felony infraction, probably anything else that has this Arrma heatsink, you'll see that the holes are pre-drilled and tapped into the rails. And actually that's kind of a nice thing, and I'll show you why. It has the, because it's, you know, the same fan, it lines up very well with these brackets that I made, which, you know, I didn't expect, but I didn't even really think about it. So this actually worked out well. What I'm going to do is, you know, this thing's going to be like this. We're going to half and half them. So there's only going to be 2 screws in each one of these, but I think that's fine. Maybe down the road I will make one bracket that bolts to these factory holes, so it holds both fans as one big piece instead of 2. But time will tell. I mean, if this works, then what the hell, we'll just run it the way it is. But we'll get these babies mounted here. Let's see. These are M3 by 10s. These are M3 10s, and you know, again, we're gonna need some washers for those. So I have to grab some washers real quick. There they are. 4 M310s. We're going to do, like I said, flat washers. Little drop of Loctite. Never hurt anybody. And there they are. They are mounted very securely. That's what I'm saying. I believe, you know, if you're going to run 10mm wide fans like I'm doing, I would not worry about a one-piece bracket, honestly. You can most certainly run 2. Get the screws out of these suckers real quick. And then we're going to go for mounting these babies. So I'm going to run the wires straight up. And then this one, I'm actually going to stand like this. And I'm going to run the wires through these. There's actually flutes cut in the body of this. And I'm going to run the wires into it like that. And you can see now it's flush or beyond flush. So now they will both point straight up and down as far as the wires. I just think it's a cleaner look at this point. But let's get these in here. Same deal, Loctite. There they are, all mounted up. Now, as far as the wiring goes, they're going to run right back across where they were. Same way. The only difference is the Y is going to go into the receiver and come out for these two. And like I said, the original port on the side of the receiver will be used for this ESC fan only. And that's it. I mean, it's that simple, guys. Looks nice. I really dig the look. Red and black's not too bad. I mean, it's, like I said, it's not my preferred, but it is what it is. After all, the car is red and black inside, so, you know, what are you going to do? But, there they are. Mounted spiffy like rock and roll. Let's get these babies hooked up. Alright, there's our 3 fans hooked up, and let's see what they sound like. Like I said, you know, they're claiming 26,000 RPMs. If they spin up anything like the Yeah Racings, I'll be happy. And I'm sure it will make a difference. Alright, we got hooked up. Let's see. Oh yeah, they are moving air. Definitely moving air. Those sound good. Wow, yeah, those are moving some big air. I think this thing will be pleased. I think that is going to work out well, guys. So, you know, if you're interested in some of these brackets, I am working on them. I'm just a, you know, regular guy with a job, a house, a family, and a small machine in my basement. Nowhere near any kind of production level. I mess with this stuff when I can. So just please be patient, and I will get these brackets loaded up on eBay so you guys can get your hands on them. But other than that, there it is, guys. I think this is going to work out great. So we'll catch you on the next one. Hope you all stay safe out there. Later.